Oh man, I'm out of practice here. I've not had a live stream in 4 weeks, which is the longest I've ever gone without a live stream. I've been traveling a lot. End of the summer, big trip to the UK, which we'll talk about here in a second. Want to do a few announcements here. I have 2 tour dates in the US coming up with my Rick Beato unedited live show where I tell stories, I break down songs, I play some guitar, I take questions from the audience, which is my favorite part. And I'm going to be doing a show at Vanderbilt University at Belair School of Music, where one of my dear friends, Tom, teaches conducting. That's on September 11th. And then on September 25th in San Francisco at the Presidio Theater. Never been there. Well, I've been to San Francisco, but never been to the Presidio Theater. But tickets are on sale right now through my website. And I have dates in Europe coming up too, but that doesn't start till the end of October. But there's going to be, all these dates are on there, but Oslo, Stockholm, Helsinki, Berlin, London, and Dublin. Last show was added in Dublin. And of course, on those dates, there will be some interviews in addition. So it's kind of a tour mixed in with I'm not sure if the tour is the excuse to do the interviews or it's the opposite, but I like to kind of combine them. I'm going to have Pavel with me, who films all of my interviews. So we'll be able to do that because some things just come up. Which I'll tell you about in a second. We're having a huge Labor Day sale that just started today. It's going to go through September 1st, which is Labor Day. And it's all 6 of my courses for $109, which is less than $20 a course or over $600 off. It's got my, people are like, what's in the complete Beato method? Because that's what it is. It's my music theory for songwriters, which has 19 lessons and 3+ hours of videos, and it will help you expand upon your songwriting. It's my Beato book interactive. That's more of like an intermediate guitar course that actually talks about soloing and things like that, and how to use ideas. Or my Beato book interactive. What did I just say? Quick Lessons Pro. That's Quick Lessons Pro. My Beato book interactive is my 500-page PDF, but now it's a huge video course that has hundreds of audio examples and just tons of video lectures in there. My ear training course, you guys know about that. I talk about that all the time. That's got 80+ video lessons, hundreds of interactive training modules. They'll teach you to hear and develop relative pitch. Not perfect pitch, but relative pitch. My beginner guitar course, which is, of course, that's self-explanatory. And my Arpeggio Masterclass. If you want to play arpeggios like that, all over the neck, every key. If you have a E half diminished chord, or a C7 chord, you can play that E minor 7 flat 5 or E half diminished arpeggio on. I did it in thirds, but it teaches you these arpeggios all over the fingerboard and how to connect them. How to connect all the positions there. And then the Quick Lessons Pro, which is the 6th one. So all those for $109. Okay, let's talk about just kind of random happenings before I take questions. And please don't do super chats. Well, you can do super chats. Let's see. Sure, that's fine. Rick, I finished my 7th chord section. What are some songs that help me learn them? Honestly, you can use 7th chord arpeggios. Wait, you finished the 7th chord sections on what course? Because 7th chords could be for the ear training course. 7th chords could be for the Beato book interactive. They could be for the arpeggio course. So what are some songs that help me learn them? Oh my God. Well, 7th chords are pretty much things that were songs by the Rolling Stones, songs by the Beatles, songs by the Beach Boys, songs by pretty much any group, Led Zeppelin, Jim Croce, anything through the 1970s. From the 1950s to the 1970s, people used 7th chords in every song. Yes, Kansas, Genesis, all prog rock bands did. All rock bands did. Seventh Chords, all the Earth, Wind, and Fire, all soul groups, R&B, all 70s R&B used seventh chords. All of them did. So Peter says, I bought the complete method, holding off for happy to make my decision. The materials are great. Thank you, Peter. Appreciate that. Okay, so let me just tell you here real fast before people send these things, or there's a question. Being a humongous fan for ages, I can't thank you enough for what you've done to revive the classics. Have I had a chance to check an artist FKJ song called? No, I'll check that out. I think it'd make me more optimistic about music. Okay, so let me tell this before you do anything here, before you say anything or do any super chats or anything. So let me tell you about, so I just went to the UK to interview David Gilmore, and I did a 3-hour interview with him where he had his guitar, and we talked about everything. Talked about how to play songs. He had all his gear there. He showed me all his pedals. We looked at the way his amps were mic'd. I looked at his little Zoom 9030 that he did solos with, and really kind of his gear historically through Pink Floyd up to the present, the stuff that he uses. Talked about about songwriting. Just, oh man, it was amazing. And sitting 2 feet away from David Gilmore while he's playing the guitar, what could be better than that? That'll be out in a few weeks. These long videos take a lot of time to edit, and I have a bunch of videos that are shot. I had Hiromi, the incredible Japanese pianist that was in here. She was in right before the day before I left for England, so last week. Haven't edited that. I just put out the Aerosmith, Joe Perry, and Brad Whitford episode. I have Les Claypool that I've not put that out yet from Primus. That's not done being edited. I just put out my Matt Pinfield. I had my Andy Wallace video come out since the last time I was on here. He's one of the greatest mixers ever. I just had Nick Raskulinecz in, who's an amazing producer, who's produced some of my favorite rock records. He did like 3 of the Alice in Chains records. He did 3 of the Foo Fighters records. He did 3 Deftones records. He did, he's worked with so many great Big Wreck, so many great records he's worked on that I'm a huge fan of. And we talked about producing, engineering, mixing, all this kind of stuff that you guys know I love. I haven't finished that one yet either. But so I get to the UK, and when I did my last live stream on here, I said, somebody put something in the chat. They're like, when are you going to interview Glyn Johns? And I said, if anyone knows Glyn Johns, the producer, engineer, one of the most famous of all time, tell him I'd love to interview him. Well, the day that before I went to England, I got a message. I got an email from him, and I was thinking, is it actually Glyn Johns? So I wrote him back, and I said that I'm going to be in town, and I wrote him back the day when I got to London. I said, I'm in town for a few days. I have Friday off. I'm interviewing David Gilmore on Thursday. Is there any chance that we could do an interview? And he said, give me a call. So I called him, and we talked, and he invited me down to his house to interview him. Now, who has Glyn Johns worked with? Let's see, the Beatles. He's on the Get Back documentary. He's all through it. He engineered the record, the Let It Be record. He engineered Zeppelin 1. He engineered a bunch of the Stones records. He engineered the Who's Next, Quadrophenia, Slow Hand, Eric Clapton. He produced the Eagles' first 2 records. I mean, talk about the music history. And of course, his brother Andy was one of the most famous producers and engineers of all time. But you know the Glyn Johns miking technique, the 3 mic technique. We talked about that. Oh, it was incredibly fun. So those two days, that wasn't even something that was planned. So just stay an extra day was uh, I was able to do that. And I've been wanting to interview him forever. And I'm super psyched that that happened. Um, so that'll be coming out. We haven't edited that yet. So I got a lot of stuff. And then I have some other uh, big things coming up that I can't talk about. One of them is actually in the chat here. Somebody's asking me if I'm going to go see someone, which I am. Um, so, uh, what else here? Okay, another thing. My second channel, Rick Beato 2, if you guys don't subscribe to that, that just hit 8 years old, believe it or not. You're like, Rick Beato 2, what is that? That's a channel I started 1 year after I started this. Um, I've got almost 1 million subscribers on that. And I have a lot of original content on that. And also, I do my longer clips on there instead of putting them on this channel and having this channel have. I mean, one of the things I don't like going to channels and that they have their interviews and then they put all their clips on there and stuff. And it's really confusing. What is the most underrated Led Zeppelin song? Still praying for Plant Page or John Paul Jones interview. Can't wait for the next Gilmore. Dylan of Soho of show. Okay, Dylan. Um, what's the most underrated Zeppelin song? Oh boy, is there an underrated Zeppelin song? Like every Zeppelin song is amazing. Um, um, I'd have to think about that. That's a great Four Sticks. Dean said, "Okay, I'll go with that." Thank you, Dean. I appreciate that. That's good. I like it. I like it when people help me out there. Um, Achilles' Last Stand. That's a great song. That's kind of an underrated song. Um, there's a couple Achilles' Last Stand. I like that. Um, in the evening. What's my favorite chord? Connor says. Okay, this is my favorite chord because it's so hard to play. This chord right here. Check this out. Oh, come on. You like that? I'll tell you why I like this chord. First of all, it looks crazy, right? So it's E, B, F sharp, G sharp, E, A. So that G sharp and A together, that flat nine interval. Listen for this. It's really beautiful. Play the hemisphere chord. Hemisphere chord. That would actually go. Oh, but you could never. I don't think that you could do. I don't think I could change that quickly. Let's see here. Hold on. Da, da. So you hear this da to the da. Listen. Da, da. Wow. Oh, I got it. No problem. Piece of cake. Best way to get a piano student to practice? Primarily teach by ear and music theory intensely, mostly second to fifth graders. It's hard to get people to practice, kids. It's very difficult to get kids to practice. Um, honestly, if I knew, I would have gotten my kids to practice. I don't know when they practice. I don't know when, it's difficult to get kids to practice. You have to really be driven to do it, and I always kind of go back and forth on whether this is a learned behavior or if it's just kind of a thing that you're born with. And I think that we are just born with an innate will to practice things. Are we getting an episode with Sinister Gates anytime soon? You know, I've had Sinister on my channel 3 times. I don't know if Philip, if you know that, search him. Sin and I, we've known each other, oh my God, since the beginning of the channel. He was on, I interviewed him at his studio. He came here to my studio. I did an Avenged Sevenfold, What Makes Us Sound Great. I've not seen him in a long time. I need to call him. I've not talked to him in forever. Why does Mike Oldfield never get mentioned as a great guitarist? He just did. There we go. Hey Rick, I work in Nashville. Been seeing a lot of buzz for artists and labels to recreate the '90s sound. Are you seeing that across genres? I wouldn't say. I know '90s sound is very popular now with kids. I know that my youngest, Layla, her friends love '90s bands, rock bands. Smashing Pumpkins, Nirvana, Alice in Chains. A lot of '90s music is very big for kids. And I find that honestly with my other kids too, that their friends really like '90s music. So that's what I have to say about that. Oh, yesterday or today, I was on CBS this morning. I forgot to mention this. I did a piece on AI music, and I did one yesterday on NPR as well. So both of them were, I created a different song using an AI platform called Suno. It was just like, basically it was making a, they were reacting to the video that I made where I created the what's the guy's name? Eli Mercer was the guy in my video. And the one in today's video was Sadie something or other. And then yesterday was Lyra Owen or something. I can't remember now. I can't remember all the fake names. But on both, I created a different AI song and talked about it and talked about how these platforms have arisen, Suno and Udio. And although I used multiple AI programs to make the songs, I used ChatGPT to come up with the prompt for the lyrics and come up actually the picture of the fake AI artist. And then I used Claude, which is Anthropic's AI LLM, and it came up with the lyrics, then put the lyrics into Suno, and then Suno created the music. Now I had some notes on it as to what style of music it was, but that's what I did in those. So I don't know if you saw those, but those are those were on just in the last 2 days. I had people saying, "Oh my God, I just heard you on the radio," or "I just saw you on TV." Michael, will I reach out to Steve Van Zandt for an interview? He has great stories from E Street and his solo career. So right now, Michael, I've got. I am so backed. I basically have interviews for the rest of the year for the most part. To the point where I don't have enough time to even. I'm pretty much trying to figure out things for next year at this point. So it's really, so that's kind of where I'm at with interviews, is that I don't do, about 10% of my channel is interviews. So, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 interviews that are recorded and not out yet. And that's a couple months worth, plus I have other ones. I have 2 more this week. So, so that's kind of where I'm at with that. I want to remind people that I'm going to be on tour in the U.S. here. I'm doing 2 dates, 2 live dates. It's the first time in 3 years I've done any. I was going to not do any more, but I don't get to meet people. The only time I ever meet anyone that follows my channel is at the NAMM show. And at the NAMM show, it's pretty much musicians and people that want to look at gear. So to meet kind of regular people that follow my channel, these live shows are fun. I'm doing a show in Nashville on September 11th at Vanderbilt University at the Blair School of Music, where I've been many times. And I have a show at the Presidio Theater in San Francisco on September 25th, along with tour dates in Europe, Oslo, Norway, or Oslo, Stockholm, Helsinki, Berlin, London, and Dublin. Those dates are on my website. You can get tickets there. You can click on them, get tickets. And I have a sale since I don't have any, since I don't do any ad reads on here. I'll do my ad read, which is basically that you can get my course at an incredible discount, all 6 of them, for $109. It's a Labor Day sale. Go to rickbeato.com, open up another tab, click on it. Best deal you're going to find. Music Theory for Songwriters, the Beato book interactive, my ear training course, my Beato beginner guitar, my Arpeggio Masterclass, and my Quick Lessons Pro, which is like an intermediate guitar course. So all of these for $109, which is $600 off. It's a great deal. And frankly, not only do you learn to improve yourself as a musician and learn about music theory and learn how to play the guitar and things like that, but it also helps me where I don't have to have any do any ad reads or anything like that. I just do my own ad read for that. And that's how I pay for my guys that I have here, Tom and John, and how I am able to travel and provide you guys interviews for free here on YouTube. And I had somebody write a comment this week. They were complaining about the ads in a video, and it was a video that, I employ a lawyer to fight all these copyright things. But when they get, if I play any song in a video, it triggers the thing to do a content ID thing. And once it does that, it fills the thing with ads, the interviews especially. Like, the guy was complaining every 6 minutes there were ads. So I said, well, I pay for I go to places, I fly to England and do these things. I pay out of my own pocket to bring these things for free. And I was like, I also pay for YouTube Premium. I don't get it for free. I pay like everyone else every month. And so that I don't have to watch ads. And the guy, it's funny, the guy apologized and he said some very nice things, and it was very cool. But I thought it was funny. It's like I don't have any control over these things. If I play music in them, the people that do the content ID thing, they pile the ads in every few minutes. So sorry about that. Let me see here. What else? Eric says, I have courses. They've unlocked quite a bit just from the Arpeggio and Beato book interactive. Well, Eric, get the rest of them now. That's the perfect time. Loved you have Peter Wolf on the show. And then Mark says, Rick, your songwriting course actually helped make so many things click for me. Thank you for making that stuff available. You know, Mark, it's interesting. I've been talking about AI and all this stuff. It's like, there's nothing that these AI programs can learn that you can't learn. This stuff is finite. How to write a great melody is something that you can learn. Yes, there are people that are just able to write great melodies, but you can understand them and you can learn all the theory that these AI programs have in them, and you can do this stuff on your own and play your own music. And somebody says YouTube are upscaling videos with AI. They are not doing that. Let's see here. They are not doing that. Well, my videos looked a little weird, some of my shorts, and then they don't look weird anymore. So Eric says I can get my kid to practice tuning his guitar. Jeez. Let's see. Can you please get James Hetfield on the show? I would love to have James on. What makes a song great? Born to Run. Okay, so I did a What Makes This Song Great on Born to Run, and it got blocked. No. I did a video on Born to Run. It wasn't on What Makes a Song Great, and it got blocked. This is a long time ago, back in 2017, because I actually have the tracks to Born to Run. I could do it now and it would not get blocked, because I would fight it. So that's a great one to do. I'd love to redo it. Is the CBS piece on YT on YouTube? I did I'm sure that it's up on their site today, probably. I would say so. I will, let's see here. I'll tell you, I can look it up actually and see, because, I don't know if there was a link there or not. Nah, I bet it's up there now. I bet it's up there. Dave, who did who sent me the little clips. I'll text. I'm sure it's on CBS. Let's see here. Danny, what are you saying? The Beato books are all great. Get it? Well, it's on sale. Danny, there you go, man. Thank you. Appreciate that. $600 off. Open up another tab. Go over and you can get my complete Beato method, all 6 of my courses for $600 off, $109. It's a great deal. It helps you become a better musician, and it also helps me keep making videos on here. Let's see here. Can I try to get a John Frusciante interview? I've tried. Thank you for supporting Professor of Rock, Adam. Adam is awesome. And that, everybody's going through that same thing with the, it's all UMG. I get, oh my God, I get 20 content ID claims every single day from YouTube. And they all say UMG. They all say the same thing. UMG, Universal Music Group. They hired some third party for people that have sold their publishing catalogs. It's not even them. People sell their publishing catalogs. Then they hire these third party companies to go after people. And who are they going to go after? They go after channels with the most views. It's the easiest things. And it's a complete rip-off of YouTubers that are, this is totally fair use. And the artists are horrified by this stuff when they know that. They're horrified by it. They don't want that. They want people talking about their music. You kidding me? Let's see here. Am I going to see McCartney live? Paul is playing here. I probably will see him on his tour. Yes. But not when he's here in Atlanta. I will definitely be seeing one of the dates. I don't know where. Little Blue Fox is here. Thank you for your channel. You've encouraged me to start my own channel. For your very good, awesome, appreciate that. I'll keep uploading, right? Rick, best method for ear training and transcribing. Also, if you master major scales and pentatonic, can you play most music? Well, you can play rock music, but you can't play jazz if you master that. Well, you can play some, but you really need to. Best method for ear training is to get my Beato ear training for sure, Jesus. And the thing is that mastering other scales like modes of the melodic minor and harmonic minor, those are incredibly important because there's a lot of chord progressions that you can't just use major scales for. There are certain types of chords that that you need to to access to play over certain kinds of chord patterns. Somebody says, have I ever been to a Fish show? Or how many Fish shows have I been to? So not only have I been to a Fish shows, but I jammed with Trey and Fishman and John. How do you like that? I jammed with them both together. The three of us. I played bass back in 2004, maybe 2005, at the barn in Vermont, in Burlington. You have the tracks of Born to Run. Do a redo. Oh man, it's moving too fast here. Sorry for the topic. I'm curious if you still have the ringing in your ears. I don't have the ringing today. Catalin, I don't have it today. Mine is intermittent. Thank God it's intermittent. Today is dead silent. And, you know, almost every single person that I have interviewed has tinnitus. That's ear ringing. Almost everyone. I can think of a couple maybe that don't. Maybe. But I ask all of them. I don't ask them on camera. Most people want to forget that they have it if they have it. But, there's people that have said, oh, I, had it. Who was it that said, I had it from playing a gig in 1986 and his ears, was it Luke? Ears started ringing then and haven't stopped. Something like that. I can't imagine that. And eventually you learn to kind of ignore it, but luckily for me, it is very managed. It's gone today. Zero, none. So I'm incredibly lucky. Welcome to Finland. I can't wait to go to Finland. So I've never been to Norway, never been to Finland. I've been to Sweden and I loved it. Stockholm was amazing. I'm psyched about that. I've been to Berlin where I'm doing the show. I love Berlin. London, I was just there last week. I've been to London a million times. Dublin, I'm doing the show in. I've been to Dublin one time in 2004, and it was for a very short period of time. And it was beautiful. Short period of time for a day and a half, and it was great. So I'm looking forward to going back and doing the show there and spending a couple days. Let's see here. As a former music professor, what tips do you have for current music students like me? How do I get the most out of school? Learn as much as you can about all different styles of music, because that is really why I think my channel has been successful. Is that I have knowledge of so many genres of music, jazz, of all different genres of jazz, bebop, hard bop, early swing, gypsy jazz, ECM jazz of the 70s, of modern jazz and all that. Classical music. My undergrad degree is in classical bass. I played in orchestras forever. I took music history even in grad school that was classical music history. And I listen to classical music all the time. Rock music. In addition to living through basically the entire history of rock, so from 1962 to 2025 here, I was a music producer and engineer. So I can interview engineers and producers and talk about equipment used. I can talk about recording techniques, what kind of microphones to use, things like that. And just from having really diverse interests that I developed in college taking different classes. You know, there was no internet invented when I was in school, 1980 to 86. YouTube didn't get invented till 2006, and I started when I was 54. But all the stuff I learned from 18 to 26, really it was like from 14 to 26, are things that I use every day on my channel. And that is the honest truth there. And I'm so glad that I spent the time to learn these things. That was the best thing that I ever did, was to do that. I've not heard the new Alice Cooper record. It wasn't me. Hit that like button. The like button's for free. Hit the subscribe button. That is free as well. The subscribe button is free, and don't forget to subscribe to my Rick Beato 2 YouTube channel, which I just hit my 8th anniversary on. It's I'm at about 950,000 subscribers somewhere, and I'd like to get to 1 million so I get my second plaque. Woohoo! Anyways, don't forget Nashville show on September 11th at the Blair School of Music at Vanderbilt University, and on September 25th in San Francisco at the Presidio Theater. If you're there, come to the shows, ask questions. I would love to meet you. It's going to be fun. And then obviously the shows in Europe. Tickets are on sale at rickbeato.com, where you can get my courses as well with the Labor Day sale. So you guys are incredible. Really appreciate it. Check out these videos as they come out. David Gilmore, Glenn Johns, Hiromi, Les Claypool, my new Matt Pinfield interview that just came out, Nick Raskulinecz, my Andy Wallace interview. And I got a bunch more stuff happening. You guys are amazing. Have a great rest of your weekend. We'll talk. I'll see you guys.